guys, it's Katie here again. Today is going to be a little bit of a short video on my experience with Latisse. This bad boy right here. Can you even see that? No? Get out your magnifying glasses, folks. It's Latisse, I promise. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how this product worked for me, what kind of side effects it had on me, and let's get started. Now, Latisse was actually discovered by accident. This is something that my doctor had kind of informed me on too. This actually used to be a medicine to treat people who had glaucoma, and it was an eye drop form. They would pour this into their eyes, and then all of a sudden the doctors noticed, or the patients noticed, that their lashes were growing like crazy, because when they were pouring it into their eyes to treat the glaucoma, their lashes were growing. And so that's how it was kind of discovered, just by plain accident. So then somebody got the bright idea to bottle it and sell it as a lash growth serum, which it does work. So first off, it comes in a little bottle like this. This is only 3 milliliters. This is really, really small. However, if you use it right, you can make it last a lot longer than the recommended 1 month that your doctor will say that it's probably gonna last you. And rule number 1, they're gonna give you this with a box of brushes. Now, these brushes are all individually wrapped, so they are very, very sanitary. However, I would recommend either cutting down the bristles on the brushes that they give you, because they're way too long and they're way too thick and they absorb way too much of the product. So that way, when it's absorbing less of the product, when you cut them down and it's absorbing less of the product will last you longer. Hence why I just decided to ditch those little brushes and use an eyeliner brush to put on this product with. Now, obviously I sanitize this and every single time I use it, because you want to be really careful when you're putting something on your eye. So I would just recommend sanitizing any kind of brush every single time you use it. And the reason why I chose to use a brush like this is because, as you can see, it is so thin and it's so short. So that way you're not wasting a lot of the product when you're putting it on the brush and then putting it on your lash line. Another thing that I would recommend is that the doctor will say just pour a little bit on the brush, obviously the brushes that they give you, and then put it on your eye. I would recommend taking the lid off, pouring just 1 drop into the lid, and then using the lid as a little thing for you to dip the brush in and then put it on your lash line. Again, you're not going to waste any other product, because you can just keep dipping your brush in here until all the product is out of the lid. I would even recommend only using 1 drop from this for both eyes. Now, this is probably I probably have 1/4 of it left. I've used about 3/4 or 75% of this bottle. However, I got this in November. So you can see that because of the technique and the way that I've applied it, it's definitely lasted a lot longer for me than for other people who have used it with the brushes and, you know, have just poured it onto the brush to apply it to their lash line. So those are my little tips and tricks for making the money that you spend on this go a lot farther. I actually got this from, obviously, a doctor. You do have to have a prescription for this, if you didn't know that already, unless they've changed something since November, but I don't think that's the case. Now, for my doctor, I paid $130 for this, and usually this is about $150 for the 3 milliliter bottle. It is very pricey, I get that, but you know, it is something that has worked for a lot of people, so I think that's why they're able to, you know, kind of keep the price up. And, you know, if it works, then people are definitely, you know, people who have the money are definitely willing to spend that money. I feel like it's kind of a convenience thing too. You know, if you have really short, really sparse lashes, then probably a lot of times you're using fake lashes or false lashes in order to give yourself the look that you desire when it comes to makeup. But if you're using this and it's actually working for you, then you can kind of stop using the lashes all the time, which, you know, like I said, it's more of a convenience thing for people too. As far as side effects go, my doctor did tell me, you know, do not get this in your eyes, because my biggest fear was, since I do have light eyes, I had heard that it can give people who have light eyes almost like brown specks on their eyes, and that's what something that really terrified me, because, you know, if I have really light eyes, I don't want, you know, brown spots on my eyes, because I didn't know what the side effects of that would be. In addition to that, it is supposed to make people have very dry eyes, and if you already have dry eyes, it's just going to, you know, increase the amount of dryness that you do have. Now, I don't know if you guys have been following or how long you guys had been following me or subscribed to my channel, but I did get LASIK probably about probably about 6 months ago now. And when I did get my LASIK, right after, my eyes were really, really dry. And then, so that was another thing that was kind of concerning to me as well. I didn't want my eyes to be even more dry on top of what they already were after I got the LASIK. So basically, like, the two biggest side effects are, you know, if you have light eyes, it can create brown spots on your eyes and also increase in dryness and redness. Now, as far as my experience goes, I obviously did take into consideration that, you know, this can give you brown specks on your light colored eyes, but when I did talk to my doctor about it, he said, yes, it is something that has happened, but he has never had any of his patients have any of those issues. He just recommended that you be very careful with it, and obviously you don't go and like pour it into your eye. So he had, you know, showed me how to use it, and then, you know, wrote the prescription and gave me the Latisse, and then I went on my merry way. Now, when I first started using it, I was using the brushes that came with the pack. Then, you know, maybe a couple days after that, I was like, okay, you know, these are not working. I'm going to use way too much product by using these. So I started using the eyeliner brush, which did work a lot better. And like I said, I poured it into the lid, swirled it around onto the brush, and then applied it to my lash line. You definitely don't want to apply it to your lower lashes, only on top. Also, another side effect that I had heard is darkening of the eyelids. I didn't have any issues like that though. So when I did start using it, I was very, very careful not to get it in my eye, in constant fear that I was going to get brown spots on my eyeball. But that hasn't happened, and like I said, I've been using this since November, and it's now January. So one thing though that I will say is that my eyes got so red and so dry. I had been using it for about a week, and my eyes were just so extremely red. It looked like people at work were like, oh my gosh, your eyes are so red. And now looking back on it, I think that it was a combination of using this and staring at a computer screen constantly for, you know, 8-9 hours a day. But this definitely added to the dryness and the redness in my eyes. So what I did was I just took a break for a week, a solid week. I didn't use it at all. Then after a week went by, I started using it every other day instead of at night, every single night. That helped a lot. As soon as I started using it every other day and I didn't see any signs of like redness or irritation or anything like that, then I started using it every single night. Once I started using it every night is when I started noticing some huge difference in my lashes. Now, as I've said before, I have very sparse lashes, but I don't really mind the length of my lashes. So I was actually using this to get more fullness in my lashes, which I was hoping it would do instead of just increasing the length. So I will show you pictures at 4 weeks, and this is after using it every single night. 4 weeks, 8 weeks, and then now, which is about, I guess, you know, 16 weeks later. So you can definitely see in the pictures that, you know, the difference between, you know, the first picture and the last picture is an increase in fullness. The length, you know, it did lengthen my lashes significantly, which I don't think really shows up too much in the pictures, but you can definitely see where in the first picture I did have some bald spots because my lashes were so thin, and then by the third picture they had filled in because of the Latisse. I will also say that when your lashes do start growing, they kind of grow a little crazy. I had some, or still have some on the ends here, that they kind of like curl in a weird direction, or I have like one right in here that kind of like goes straight down, but it's nothing that you can't fix with a little bit of, you know, mascara and an eyelash curler. So after I started using the Latisse consistently, after I, you know, had stopped for a little while, the redness did start to go away, as well as the irritation. I don't know if it's just that you get used to it, or if, you know, after a while it just kind of, you know, the irritation that is paired with this just kind of diminishes completely, but I don't notice any sort of irritation at all while using this anymore. I think one thing that really helped too is being careful how much you use. That's why I say use 1 drop for 2 eyes, because if you put too much on the brush and then apply it to your lash line, some will inevitably run into your eye. One, you don't want that, because if you do have light eyes, you don't want that product to, you know, have the opportunity to make any brown spots on your eyes. 2, you don't want it to go into your eyes, because then that's what's going to really cause some irritation. So all in all, I would say that I will definitely be using this again. I have heard that a generic brand is going to be coming out soon, so that will always be good, because then it will be a lot more affordable for people. You know, just like the generic brand for Advil or Tylenol, it's the same thing. Just because it's not the Latisse brand, it's going to be more affordable for people. So you won't have to pay $150 for a little tiny bottle of this to get your lashes to grow. I think that it did a great job of, you know, lengthening my lashes as well as filling in all of the bald spots. I had even started using it, like any excess that I have on my brush after I put it on my lash line, I'll put a little bit right in here just to see if it'll kind of make like my brows fill in a little bit more nicely. I haven't noticed any results on that yet, but if I do, I will definitely let you guys know. So all in all, I think this is great stuff. If you can get past the, you know, redness and irritation that may be paired with this, then I would say it's definitely something that works, and I hopefully look forward to a generic brand coming out, so that way it'll be more affordable. But I hope you guys found this helpful. If you were kind of on the fence about whether or not you should give this a try, I would definitely say go for it. But if your eyes get irritated or if you see any side effects, then definitely stop and talk to your doctor about it. Again, I hope this was helpful, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.